internet, welcome back to my channel. Today I have a planner flip through video. I have not used these planners yet. I am not 100% sure what I want to use them for just yet. I have some ideas which I'll get to at the end of the video, but this is a brand that I don't see very often online, so I thought I would make a quick flip through video in case anyone was interested. This particular brand is called Take a Note, and I think they're a Taiwanese brand. I feel like they kind of a combination of Hobonichi and Traveler Notebook. That's kind of how I interpret them. Maybe the Jibun Tetros as well. They're kind of unique, which is why I wanted to pick them up. They look really clean, beautiful. And yeah, so let's get into it. There are two planners here. One is a full-blown, like, regular size. I think this is A3 size, and this is like a slim version. This is undated, which I love because I don't feel pressure to use this year. I think I might even save it for next year. But this one, unfortunately, is dated, and I know that by the time you watch this video, it will be potentially March. I'm filming this a bit ahead of time because I just wanted to film them so I can actually start using them. Let's maybe go through this one first, and then I'll go through the other one next. So first, starting off, let's zoom in just a little bit. What I really love is the paper. It's not as thin as Tomoe River's paper, but it kind of is in that vein. And it has a slight cream consistency to it, although it is still quite white. So in this first one, you can see 6 months with all the days here. So it's basically like a yearly view, and then you move straight into the weekly view. And this is the reason I really like this. I've always loved this vertical view because it gives you an overview of the entire week. So I think that's why I've always gravitated towards the vertical planners. And in my Hobonichi cousin, I've been extensively using this weekly view. In the Traveler notebooks, I would always get these sort of views as well, the notebooks that have this view. I just love it. It just feels very comfortable and easy to use. These are definitely quite a bit more narrow than, say, if I was to compare it to a Hobonichi cousin. Let me get my Hobonichi cousin. So you can see here, like, it is way more narrow, nowhere as thick. Also, the print is much finer, which actually I really love. I love that it has a bit of a daintiness to it. Whereas I always used to think the Hobonichi was very dainty because I was used to, say, Erin Condren planners, which are very bold and thick. And I still do think they're dainty, but then when I saw this planner, I was like, wow, this is delicate. But you can see that the width of this is about 2/3 of the width of a cousin. It's in English, which is great. And it times from 5 AM to midnight, which is kind of similar-ish to the cousin, except the cousin goes down to 4 AM, so it's the full 24 hours. So you do miss some of those early mornings, which I guess most people don't, are probably sleeping then. I don't know. I'm not quite sure. I'm up all the time because I have a baby who doesn't sleep. So you do have a clear panel here if you want to write anything, and you can make notes at the bottom. And that is, for the most part, pretty much all there is to this notebook. It's really simple. It's mostly just the weeks. And then there's a bunch of note paper back here. I will say, just to point out some detail of the note paper, it's gridded, but you can kind of see how it's like 5 by 5. The lines deepen a little bit, and then you've got these, like, at certain points, oh my gosh, I hope it's focusing. There you go. Like these dots in the middle, 3 lines, and then you've got the same here, dots here as well. I'm not 100% sure why they're in that position. I don't know whether there's something about how, say, the Taiwanese plan, and there's a certain way the calendar is viewed in Taiwan. I have no idea, but I thought that was interesting that it's like only a select few. And like, if you see the ones here, it's here, here, here. It's not even on the thick lines. It's pretty random. I have no idea. If anyone knows, let me know why they do that. But that is all there is to the slim planner, and then you can put your name and contact details at the back. So that's a slim notebook. This is probably the main reason I did the order Take a Note. I discovered the brand 2 years ago, and they sell it really fast, and then they don't take orders during the year. So I had to wait a full year until I could order them. And I think I'm going to save this until I'm like pretty certain I know what to do with it, just because I just love the aesthetic of this particular planner. All right, moving over to the larger one, which is the one I'm going to try using. So the reason I picked up these planners to begin with is, one, well, they just look interesting and I thought I could share them online, but 2, I'll be going back to work soon and I still haven't worked out how I'm going to track my work in a planner. I really prefer writing stuff down for work, even though my day job is very digital. And I actually, if you know the whole story, that's why I have a Hobonichi Weeks. It was supposed to be my work planner, but it's now become my side hustle planner, and so I need like a work planner now. So I don't know if this is going to work. We'll just see. This is much thicker, kind of similar start, and then I just want to make sure it all fits in frame. So because it's 2023, that's like the majority you see here, but you can have the end of 2022 and the start of 2024. And then you could almost use these as slight habit trackers because you have all the days of the weeks and then 2 extra boxes underneath. And then you've got this monthly view, again, very similar. I'm just going to pull the Hobonichi because right now Hobonichi planners are my main drivers, so I use them all the time. So it just kind of makes sense to refer to them. Just trying to pull up blank pages because I'm heavily using, you can see like it's heavily used at the moment. But there's the 6-month view, really similar. Even the width is actually quite similar, but there's a little bit of space at the top, whereas here you've got 3 check boxes, but you've got tons more space at the bottom if you want to write anything. Again, this just feels more delicate, more fragile, more dainty. That's the only way I can really describe it, and in English. So there's the 6 months, and then here are the monthly views. Same deal, right? It just feels really delicate. Let me show you a monthly view that I have not filled out in my Hobonichi. Here. So the Hobonichi cousin just kind of spans the entire, yeah, actually they're the same size, right? A5. Spans the entire pages and book, so you optimize the amount of space you're taking up. Here there's a lot of extra space everywhere, like you've got space down here, a bunch here and at the top. So they've kind of centered everything. I guess maybe if you want to write notes around pointing to dates and stuff like that, this might be a good planner for that. I'm not quite sure what this is though. PO40, like I don't know, it's quite faded out. Maybe it's the week. Is it? No, that wouldn't be the week. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Because it starts, yeah, like it starts here, PO40, PO40, PO44, PO48. I have no idea what that means. Does anyone know what that is? And it just keeps going. Because I thought maybe it was like the week number, but it's not week 60, 64, 68. But they're going up in increments of 4. Interesting. Okay, so monthly view. And then we come to the semi-weekly view, which I also thought was really interesting. So for the cousin, you have like a proper weekly view, which you saw before. And then after that is the daily. Same for this one, weekly view. This is like half weekly view, right? Which I can kind of see the benefit from, and I'm kind of interested to see how this works. I can see this working really well for work in that sense, because I don't really need to see a whole 5 days a week for work, but a few days ahead of time actually helps. So I will probably try using this for work when I go back and then see if it's useful. But say for the start of the week, I say like start of the week, you've got this section here where it's like Monday to Sunday. Maybe you want to write your key topics here. And then at this point here, you've got from 6 a.m. till 3 a.m. time, and you've got quite a bit of space to either write activities, you can do to-dos, anything like that. You can write notes. There's a little bit of space at the top and bottom to still write a few notes, but not much. So it is kind of useful for that because it gives you a bit of flexibility whether you want it to be a more scheduled calendar. I could use, see, they've kind of darkened the center here where it's lunchtime, which is perfect because my lunchtime actually is from 12 to 1. So this is the time where I block out in my calendar so I don't accept meetings, so that I can actually take time to have lunch and decompress for the day. Well, not the day, but you know, unfortunately, sometimes you do use it to prep for meetings in the afternoon, but I kind of like that because it already kind of presets you up that this is working planner. So you know you've got 4 days here and then 3 days here. So that's kind of how the week spreads out. The more I look at this now, the more I'm like, yeah, this is actually the right planner for work because it is so business centric, business focused. And yeah, That's what I mean by it reminds me of Hobonichi because of these like little colors on the side. The colors are all very muted. They're all kind of like a brown or a gray or a muted moss green. But these are what all the weeks look like. I'm so curious to know how this actually works when in a functional setting. I'm happy to do an update at the end of the year or later to show you guys how I actually ended up using it. And then after you finish the weeks, you've got a little bit of note paper. Again, you've got these like dots, like, but they're just in the center now. Center, and then center of the page, and then center here, but nothing on the sides. Not much grid paper though, right? It's like 1, 2, 3, 4, like 4 pages. It's really not much. So you would hope that this weekly view is enough to take down any notes you need to, which I could see this being useful because my working day is really more like this window, like your traditional 9 to 5. You've got space at the top here for the morning and the evening to take any notes. I prefer using this for, why I find it so useful is sometimes I'll have meetings that I just need to have a few bullet points to prepare for so I know what I'm going to talk about. And so having that extra space to just sort of scribble really helps me make sure that the meeting time is optimally used. Similarly, when I come out of a meeting, I want to take some notes so I know what actions to carry forward. I do actually have an app that I use to take down all my to-dos across everything in my life. But I don't like putting things in there unless it's a definitive action. Sometimes there are just things I need to think about or just be aware of. Just like kind of know that something is happening, and that isn't really a to-do. There's no action for me, it's more of an awareness. So that's kind of why I like planners. It kind of hits that soft spot between a hard action and brainstorming for strategy and stuff like that. Anyways, I don't know if I've waffled on too much in this video, but hopefully you found it useful. Let me know what you guys think of these planners. Oh, by the way, it's like an exposed edge here as well. I don't know if that bothers anyone, but it doesn't bother me. I hope you guys have found this video useful. Let me know what you guys think. Let me know if you guys use these planners, what you think of them, how you use them. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. This is Celina reporting from my room. Back to you, internet. Oh, the other thing I wanted to mention about this planner is that unlike this one, which is not stapled, they're threaded, this doesn't really lie flat. You can see it just kind of likes to fold and close. This one lies flat. Another big thing I really love about planners. So I just wanted to throw that in. I realized at the end of the video I forgot to mention that, but yeah, that's a big deal for me that planners lie flat. So love that.